Hey, welcome back. It's been a few days. I've let the votes trickle in and I've got some results and the reveal of which pedals I was using. So let's rush through them. Number one was this, the Mosky Deluxe Preamp, hand-wired apparently. And this is a clone of the Love pedal Amp 11, and it's a really nice little drive pedal and boost. And I have no idea how it compares to the original. I've never tried one, but it sounds pretty good to me. Nevertheless, it received 0 votes in the video, and I'm putting it down to the fact that there was just so much more interesting stuff in that video. Or maybe it was just the guitar didn't particularly complement this. Who knows? This wasn't the only pedal to receive no votes, but we'll get to that in a bit. So that was number one on the overdrive list. Number two was this pedal from Demiurge Instruments here in the UK, and this got a staggering 5 votes. So yeah, I was not surprised that it was popular because it sounds fantastic. But I don't know, I wasn't quite prepared for as much love as it got. But I also felt quite vindicated in my appraisal of this pedal when I first got it and first reviewed it. I'm not going to be playing through these pedals again, you've already heard them. If you want to refer back to the last video to remind yourself what these sound like, then go ahead. But yes, Chroma Drive, 5 votes, that one. So that's looking like a pretty solid contender, and I'm going to have to put some Velcro on this. Still in overdrive, what was the next one? Ah, that's right. This was the humble little Eno Trouble Overdrive, which is an OCD clone. And obviously being in such a small format and very cheap as well, this has been quite a popular pedal for me on my boards in previous years, especially when I've prioritized delays and reverbs and other weirdness. It's been quite nice to just keep the drive section as tiny as possible, taking up as little room as possible. So that was number 3, and that received 1 vote. So not a great day for the Trouble Overdrive. Flock Effects Hottokēki was number 4. This absolutely magnificent beast. This, if you don't already know, this is 2 Crowther Audio Hottokēks side by side in series, and of course you can stack them by having both on. You can have just one side on and then stomp both foot switches at the same time to get to switch sides and have it like a preset. It's amazing. You can have one side set up as a boost and the other set up as like a mild overdrive, or a crank it for a more of a crunchy gain thing, or turn the gain all the way up and have it as a fuzz. So you can have like an overdrive on one side and a fuzz on the other, and then have them both on for like a stacked thing. It's immense, this thing, and it understandably got 4 votes. So even though I was only able to include a small snippet of what this pedal can do, it was obviously enough to make all of you realise it's great. So that is looking like a contender as well for the overdrive section. Moving on to Distortions, the number 1 pedal in that list was another Eno pedal, the Myomorpha, which is a Rat clone. It also has the vintage and turbo settings. I think I used both in the demo. This didn't get any votes So yeah, not a great day for Eno, and I think part of the reason for that is this was actually one of 4 Rat voiced or Rat based drive pedals, and because this is basically just a very, very simple by the numbers Rat, maybe it was kind of overshadowed by some of the more nuanced and unique takes on that circuit that were also in the list. So putting that to one side, it doesn't look like either of those Eno pedals have made the cut. So it got 1 upvote. 1 upvote. You can tell I've been on Reddit a lot. 1 vote, but it's not really enough to save it in this list, sadly. So moving on to number 2, and this was another Flockifex pedal, the Rattus Rattus, which is another kind of basic Rat times 2. So whereas the Myomorpha is a single Rat with various different clipping options and stuff, this is 2 fairly simple Rats, but obviously you can stack them and do all of the same kinds of things as the Hottokēki, the hotcake clone, with this pedal as well. So you can have one Rat set up one way and the other side set up another way and then bounce between them, or you can stack them both together for a kind of Graham Coxon type thing. It's a beast, absolute beast of a pedal. Nonetheless, how many votes did this get? 2. 1 for each side. So yeah, it's quite sad. I think the Rattus Rattus deserved more votes than that. But moving on, we'll see what else was voted for in this category. Number 3 is one of my all-time favourites, I think. Aha, here it is. Number 3 was this recently demoed Ratbender. So again, based on a Rat at its heart. The Rangerfx Ratbender has all the voicing of a Rat, but also has an element of tone bender to it as well, is in the kind of hairy, spitty, unbiased kind of crazy fuzz kind of quality that a tone bender has. So it has both of those kinds of elements in this one pedal, and it sounds like, oh, it just sounds so good. I love this thing. And so do you, apparently. This got 3 votes in the distortion category, which it's not brilliant, but it's not terrible either. It's a pretty solid number of votes for this pedal, I think. It definitely makes it a contender for the distortion category. Number 4, rattling through these because it's going to be a long list and a longer video. Yes, number 4 was the Flockifex modded Boss DS1, which you may have seen in a recent video. This one has been repainted, recovered with this awesome multicoloured hexagonal pattern by Gear Ant in New York. So that's the number 4 distortion. Sadly, it didn't. The votes didn't seem as impressive as the finish on this, so that only got 1 vote, sadly. But I still love this thing. It's probably best that it's not going to end up on my board. I can't bring myself to stomp on something so beautiful. Number 5 was the sister pedal to the DS1. Is the Flockifex modded Metal Zone, dubbed the FE2, also by Gear Ant. This awesome pink and neon yellow paint job. This got a whopping 5 votes. So this is only the second pedal in this whole list that got 5 votes. So this and the Chroma Drive are looking like pretty solid additions to my drive section. And I'm not surprised because it sounds monstrous. So that was a solid entry from for the distortion category. Number 6 on the list was the Demiurge Instruments Doomy O, another kind of Rat-based pedal. but with a octave, analog octave kind of element to it as well, with a boost. It's basically a clone of the Life pedal by Earthquaker Devices. Again, another pedal that looks astonishing and sounds just as good. This was fairly popular. This got the same number of votes as the Ratbender 3. So again, nothing spectacular, sadly, but still, it's a pretty solid number of votes. I think it's definitely still in the running for consideration. And that brings us to the end of the distortion category. So now we're into fuzz, and this is where things start to get a little bit interesting. Not as many votes for this category, which was quite surprising. I was not expecting such disinterest in the fuzz category for some weird reason. Number one, where are we? Number one in the fuzz category was the Wraa Labs modded, or rehoused and modded, Super Fuzz by Behringer. So yeah, this is the SF300 that so many people love, and myself included. This has had a few mods to it. Obviously, it's been rehoused with a better quality foot switch as well, soft switch, which is nice. And yeah, it's added some sweeping filter things and a mid. There's like a toggle switch here to kind of isolate the in-between modes from Fuzz 1, Fuzz 2 and Boost, so you can kind of get combinations in between. And yeah, that was number one on the list of fuzzes. Sounds crazy, sounds fantastic in my opinion. 0 votes. I'm sorry, I have no control over the voting, and I was very surprised that got nothing. So again, maybe it's because everything else on the list is just so incredible. That's what I'm going with. So yeah, that was number one. Number two was another from Wraa Labs. This is the Glitchwave 567. Again, a really nice soft switch, foot switch. And yeah, this does some really weird fuzz, kind of staticky, glitchy, white noise kind of sounds from this. So it's not, I don't know, it's not strictly speaking like a traditional kind of fuzz. Yeah, it's more just for kind of white noise, interference, kind of static kind of sounds, which is amazing. I think it has its place. Definitely, I'm definitely thinking of putting it on my board, regardless of the only 2 votes that this pedal got. Number 3 was the Rangerfx Cherub Jet Fuzz, and I really love this pedal. I think this is a fantastic kind of halfway point between distortion and fuzz. No votes. Sadly, I don't really understand why, because I think it's fantastic. But yeah, top jacks, small footprint, only 2 knobs, but it's pretty versatile. Covers quite a lot of interesting tones. I don't think it deserves such little interest on the list. So, but yeah, the people have spoken. So moving on. Number 4 is another recent and very popular pedal I've demoed, and this is the Forest Effects Fauna Mark II. This is another octave fuzz. The difference between this and the Doomy O is that this has a octave up and an octave down, and you can switch between either octave up, octave down, or in between, so you can have a blend of both up and down between going on at the same time. And yeah, it's just a really interesting sounding fuzz, and it's just fantastic. Really, a lot of work has gone into making this thing, and made in the UK as well. Forest Effects, check them out. What score did it get? This got 3 votes, so again, pretty good, pretty popular. Definitely in the running. It's one of the most popular, actually, looking again. This is the most popular fuzz in this category so far. So that's definitely in the running for Fuzz pedal on my board. So thank you for voting on these, by the way. Next, we're halfway through. Number 5 on the list was another Flock Effects pedal. Here we are. The Count to Fuzz. As you can see, this was clearly influenced by the Count to 5, the layout and everything as well. But if I flip it on its side here, you can instantly tell what it's influenced by, what it's really going on inside. Obviously, it's a Fuzz factory, and I haven't gotten around to making a video of this yet, but it's coming soon. And yeah, what a fantastic pedal it is. I suppose all credit should go to Zvex for making the Fuzz factory originally. Or should I be thanking the people who made the Dunlop Fuzz face first? Since that's what this basically is. You decide. Anyway, this got 2 votes, which again, not terrible, but not massively popular, sadly. But it's a classic circuit, looks fantastic as well. I still say it's in with the running with being on my board, but we'll see. So, moving on to the penultimate pedal on this list, in this category, we have the Dirty Haggard Audio and Fuzz Imp Effects collaboration pedal, the DAF. And this is a 1-knob monster of a fuzz. And I don't think my demo or my clip of it in my video quite did it justice, because I think this sounds absolutely incredible, and it only got 1 vote. I don't think that's fair at all. I think it sounds amazing. I still kind of want to put it on my board, even though it only got 1 vote. But ultimately, I think I'm going to have to just see how my next board goes. If I've got room for it on my board, it will definitely be going on there. But I am going to be taking these votes seriously. So my next board will have all of these kind of most voted pedals high on the list of priority for going on there. So, last pedal on the list was this. This is the Rangerfx Bleep Fuzz, and this is it's kind of like a PLL type filter kind of fuzz in one. And it creates some really, really crazy messed up sounds, and it's 100% going on my board. Even if it didn't get any votes here, this would be going on there because it's so unique and crazy. But it got 2 votes, so, you know, it's small, it's got top jacks somehow. I've no idea how they managed that. But yeah, it's ridiculously small, takes up virtually no room, and does a whole bunch of really unique stuff. So that is 100% going on my board, and I'm glad that you got 2 votes for this thing as well, just to justify it a little bit more. And that's it. That was all the pedals that I was testing in my last video, and thank you again for voting and helping me decide on which ones to go for, which just really helped narrow the list down for me. So I appreciate it, and I can't wait to get all these pedals on my next board and start thinking about layouts and all of that stuff. It's going to be a long one. So, moving on. Thank you again for watching, thank you for voting, and stay tuned for the inevitable behemoth video of putting this next board together. And know that you had a part in deciding what went on it. So thanks again. I will see you again in the next video.